What's going on, my dudes? This is Math Time with Mr. G, and today we're going to talk about what tan, sine, and cosine ratios are. So first, we're going to talk about the word. It's tangent. That's how we get the short word for tan. And then we have sine, which is how we got the short word for sine. And then we have cosine, which is the short for cos. This is what your calculator is going to show, the button, but these are the Greek words that we take them from. So in a right triangle, we're always going to compare to an angle. So let's use A as our angle. There's this Greek letter called theta. Theta, it just means we don't know this angle. It's kind of like when we say, what's the measure of x? X is the measure of length. Theta is the measure of an angle. When comparing, there are three ways that we can talk about theta. We can say the opposite leg, the adjacent leg, or the hypotenuse. When talking about using sine, I'm talking about using opposite over hypotenuse. What that means is, let's say that there is a triangle and it is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, and I'm comparing theta. The sine of theta would be opposite, which is 4. So the sine of this theta would be 4 over 5, or 0.8. So now I have a new triangle. It's still this measure theta, which I don't know yet, but we'll figure out how to figure that out in a little bit. And this is now 8. Well, we could just say 4 times 8, and then this should be 10. However, let's say we're using big numbers and decimals. I can then use this ratio and say the sine of this is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. Well, we don't know the hypotenuse, but we know the ratio. So 0.8 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, multiply the x up, and then divide by 0.8. So x is 10. So sine is just a ratio to help us find missing angles. As soon as we figure out one triangle, we can find out all the others. Which means, let's talk about all the different possibilities. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which sometimes gets shortened to so. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or so. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is sometimes shortened to ca. And then tangent is the ratio of opposite over adjacent, which is TOA. So the acronym to remember is SOHCAHTOA. Kind of sounds like a different language, but SOHCAHTOA is the catchphrase. So I can now use my calculator, and this has the ratio of it plugged in. So I know I'm going to be using opposite and adjacent, and I'm not using the hypotenuse. So I know I'm using tangent. So tangent of 59 is a button on my calculator. It's going to equal opposite, which is h, over adjacent, which was 45. I'm going to multiply 45 up. So 45 times tangent of 59 is equal to h. And tangent of 59 is 1.6. And again, I just plug that into my calculator. And then times 45 is 74.89 feet. Other than that, be kind to one another, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.